Chapter 3 of shading. Now I've decided to take out the grayscale and put in a photo that I took of this statue. Now what I want you to understand is I'm not working from this photo. I'm working from life, and I'm slightly, different in terms of my head, where my head was and where the camera was than when this photo was taken. But I think it's good that you have the photo on screen for some of the time. Now, if you're a member of DrawingTutorialsOnline.com, you should have printed out that PDF, and I think it would be more beneficial if you print out this photo for yourself on Epson matte paper. Premium presentation matte paper is great because then you don't get the glare. You could print it out on glossy if that's all you have. That's cool, but it's going to be slightly different, and I think it's good that if you purchase the DVD and you're not watching this on DrawingTutorialsOnline.com, that you print out a picture and you look at the picture if you want. The members have the benefit. Members of DrawingTutorialsOnline.com have the benefit that I put the photo right below each video. So now, I'm glad that I did put the photo. I think my original measurements were a little bit more closer than when I started to make things skinnier over here. But really, that's no big deal because I can easily fix that. And so let's do that right now. Now, I sharpened my pencil for the first time since I started drawing this morning a while ago. So I'm just going to kick this out. And this is going to make the whole statue now a little bit wider. And I'm also looking at the distance from here to here. Now, I think that this is a little big. So if I pull a line straight down from that shadow shape, and let's hold my pencil up. I'm holding my pencil up. It's slightly to the right of the navel. That's not bad, okay? So I don't think I'm going to change that much. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. And I think I'm going to go with my initial measurement. So this is, you're refining as you go. And as you put the tone in, remember what I said. The tone will help you with the measurements, and some artists draw better with tone than they do with line alone. That's almost like a saying that I say all the time. Turn it into like a little song. So everything now is just going to get a little bit wider. And I'm doing the same thing, but I think that was like a 32nd of an inch that I changed that. Maybe, in some sections it will be a 1/16 of an inch that I've made it wider. And so it's nice to do those subtle fixes and not drastic half-inch. When we're dealing with a drawing that's kind of small, a half-inch change is kind of drastic. So a 1/16 of an inch is not drastic. So now I'm going to start to press down a little bit harder and commit even still to adding a little bit of detail. So I'm going to start to do my first detail in the shadow here because I think I need to do that. It's just going to help me measurement wise. I'm going to kick this out. Even still. And I'm squinting at this, and this tells me, one of my big concerns earlier on was from here to here was too skinny, and I want to make this wider. So all this is kind of working in my favor. It's just kind of validating what I originally thought was wrong with the drawing in terms of my measurements. And now, if I'm squinting, this is still to the right of that. So if I put my pencil down, and I'm trying to be fair, holding it straight up and down. I'm not tilting it to cheat. It has to be straight up and down. And now I'm holding my pencil straight out, and you want to do this too. And let's raise this oblique area. I should have tone in here already in the background, but I'm waiting simply because of the smudge factor. I don't want to start smudging just yet. I mean, not the end of the world. So I've got a sharper pencil, And what I'm going to do is with this sharp pencil, I'm not going to hold it so flat. I'm going to keep it a little bit more angled so the point now starts to go inside the texture of the paper. Now you could ask yourself the question, well, why aren't you just using smooth paper to avoid that? That's a good question. You know, I just feel that I could have done it on smooth Bristol, no doubt about it, but I wanted to try doing a drawing on good old-fashioned white plain drawing paper, not the Bristol, because I wanted a different look and feel to this drawing. Okay, so I'm gonna see now I'm starting to scribble. So this whole shading thing, as I do this, I'm thinking about black and my darkest value and how am I going here with this value. I've got to be careful now that I don't start to go too black with it. So I'm gonna move. I like the model and factor thing going on with the breast. I'm starting to see a little reflected light. It's a little too light, but it's there and it's starting to kind of pop. So I'm scribbling. Time is flying on this, I'll tell you. I'm not even close to being finished, and time is really going by fast. And this drawing, since I'm doing it from life, could really take me a long time. So I've got some decisions in front of me in terms of what's going to be on the DVD and what isn't. I've got to be careful with that. Okay, so now I'm going to knock all this down. A lot of texture to the paper. And I think in the next chapter I'm definitely going to put in tone in the background. Even if it's minimal, I've got to do it because I need to render into an atmosphere and I don't want to just render on the actual object because that leads to flatness. Now I don't know if I'm going to do the black back there. So this is where I'm losing an edge. So the value of the cast is the same value as the shadow on the marble platform. So I'm just blending those two together. And you need to have that big blur area in your drawing, a section where the background and the actual object become one. And so that's what's going to help you create your atmosphere. So I'm going a little dark. Again, please don't use this photo as an example because the photo is darker, much darker. And I did that on purpose so I can see the detail in the light. And I'm an average photographer. I'm not a professional photographer. So a professional photographer would be able to get detail in the light and in the shadow. So in life here, I've got light walls in my studio. You should see that with the picture that I posted. And those light walls are bouncing light everywhere. Let's just knock this down. And let's revisit this. So I'm a little bit more balanced. And a little bit of model and factor on this brush. I'm getting a little sloppy. So now I'm drawing from life, and as I was drawing that, I was actually looking at the statue and drawing at the same time. And so my lines were getting like a little messy, but now you really, really, really want to keep in mind the 50-50 ratio, and it's important in the earlier stage of compartments as well. 50% of your time is spent looking at the object. 50% of your time is spent looking at your paper. You don't want to start going 70% of your time is spent looking at your drawing and you have no clue as to what the statue looks like. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. Now what I'm going to do is we're at 9.5 minutes, so we're almost done, but I just want to make that shadow shape smaller so when I step back I can start to do like this measurement thing a little bit more. Something just does not seem right over here. I don't know if my breast needs to, this breast needs to be kicked to the left. I'm going to step back and we'll come back to it.